Alright guys, what's going on? I'm Tim Kelly, joined by Justin Godsey. This is the Real Sports Talk. Thank you guys for tuning in. And the NFL Draft obviously has been going on for the last few days. If you have not caught my reaction to it, make sure you like the Real Sports Talk on Facebook at facebook.com/The Real Sports Talk. Check out section215.com as well, and hit me up on Twitter at CashKelly_TRST and Justin at the Justin Godsey. Now, Justin, the second and third round about to finish off, and the big stories of the night are Geno Smith going to the New York Jets tonight, and then also we saw Manti Te'o head to your San Diego Chargers. So overall, beginning with Manti Te'o, what was your original reaction to the Chargers taking Te'o?
I have a video of myself, reacting. I was really excited. This is a huge day for me, NFL-wise, when you're talking about my team, the San Diego Chargers, because when you're a Chargers fan, we got a whole new regime. We got a new general manager. We got a new head coach, and it's time to turn this team around. And this is what we saw, not only in the second round, but also in the third round. The Chargers did well yesterday, drafting DJ Fluker to kind of get some help for Phillip Rivers. Then we're going into the second round, in which the Chargers had, the middle of a second-round pick. They decided to trade up, and they were able to snag Manti Te'o, linebacker out of Notre Dame. This is something that's going to be huge for the San Diego Chargers, because when you look at our defense, the Chargers have just been depleted when it comes to the linebackers. Sean Fields could not be returning. They sent away, Antoine Barnes, who was the team's MVP for a week in the season last year, and it's time to get a new regime in for the team. So Manti Te'o, I'm loving this pick for the San Diego Chargers. There are a lot of people out there saying that Manti Te'o would consider getting number 55 or number 5 because it all relates back to the late great Junior Seau. It seems likely that's not going to happen because Junior Seau, he's going to have that jersey number retired, and out of respect out of him, Manti Te'o could be a guy to go out there and get that number 53. That is a possibility. But you know what? Overall, I am excited for the San Diego Chargers. And going into the third round, Tim, I really like what the Chargers did. They also snagged another personal favorite of mine. I was on Twitter all day tweeting about this. The Chargers draft Keenan Allen out of the University of California. Another huge pick and another target for Phillip Rivers to throw to in 2013. The Chargers, I honestly are going to have to say, could be my personal favorite to be, the draft day winner for the draft so far.
Now, my winner for the draft so far, and this really comes between the first and the second round, is the New York Jets, a team that still may very well be the most incomplete team in the NFL. They're blowing it up. They're rebuilding. There's no question about that. But I like what they've done in the draft so far. They got D. Milliner last night, and Milliner is a guy that has some injury concerns, but if he's able to stay healthy, I believe will be a shutdown type corner in the National Football League. They get him to replace Darrelle Revis, and then they also add Geno Smith into the mix. And I don't know if Geno Smith's going to be a great quarterback in the NFL. He's someone that I've gone back and forth with. I'm not 100% sure. I like the mobility. I like the work ethic that he has. I didn't like his consistency in his senior year in college. I thought he was atrocious in their bowl game against Ryan Nassib in Syracuse, who we'll get to Ryan Nassib in a minute here. But overall, I feel like Geno Smith is someone that gives them kind of light at the end of the tunnel, because it's the end of Mark Sanchez. Whether Sanchez stays there for another year, who knows? But it's the end of the Sanchez-Tebow thing in terms of the long-term consideration. You have a guy here who is a good option. And then the Jets also add Chris Ivory from the New Orleans Saints tonight, which is a pickup that I like. Sounds like they're going to sign him to a long-term deal. So, Justin, I'm looking at the New York Jets as the winner of the first 2.5, 3 rounds of this draft, at least to this point. Now, two guys that are still on the board that were expected to go a lot earlier are Matt Barkley of USC, the quarterback, and Ryan Nassib coming out of Syracuse. Both completely different quarterbacks. Barkley is probably would have been a top 10 pick last year. Unfortunately, came back, had a disappointing season at USC in his senior year, and he is someone that I think at this point he's going to end up in the 4th round, and he's a steal for whoever gets him, because I do still like some of the intangibles that he brings to the table. The problem is he's had some shoulder problems. He didn't have a very good senior year at USC, And the bottom line is that he's fallen this far for a reason. You also have Ryan Nassib, who a lot of people felt like was going to be an early second-round pick. He's fallen this far as well. So, Justin, where do you see these two guys ending up, and what do you think the NFL future holds for both of them?
You know, when it comes to Matt Barkley, he's always that interesting subject to talk about because throughout, my time on Twitter tonight, everybody has been asking me on my personal Facebook as well, where do I see Matt Barkley going? There is one team that could be a possible landing point, and that is being the Jacksonville Jaguars. They are the number one team to do up and get a draft pick at number 1 overall. They have the 98th overall pick, and you know what? That could be a good fit. I think that with Blaine Gabbert there, they said that they're going to keep with Blaine Gabbert for one more season, but you know what? If Matt Barkley does get drafted by the Jaguars, it seems likely that I have a lot of expectations for Barkley going to be going into the camp if he does go to the Jaguars. But overall, he does outbeat Blaine Gabbert arm strength-wise. Barkley does have that kind of, that potential to go outside of the pocket and extend the play, so that's really good to have. But when it comes to Ryan Nassib, the window is just closing and closing and closing for him to even go in the 4th round, 5th round, or even in the 6th and 7th round. This guy, who I have been reading about, has undrafted free agent credentials on him right now. And you know what? It's going to be an ultimate disappointment for this guy. This guy who played phenomenally well at Syracuse, a scrambling quarterback. He has great arm strength. He does have the ability to stay in the pocket. He is very mobile, and that's always a good trick to have as an NFL quarterback going to the next level, to the NFL, or college football to the NFL. So, when it comes to Ryan Nassib, I'm getting really concerned here. I don't know. I highly doubt that he's going to be going in the 4th and the 5th round. I have him somewhere in the 6th for a team to go in there, and if they really want to work out with the quarterback, Ryan Nassib could be that guy. There's another quarterback that's still going around the NFL right now. That is Tyler Bray, who is, physically better than Ryan Nassib and, health-wise better than Matt Barkley, because Tyler Bray, a good quarterback, he's more of a pocket precision of a quarterback. He does have he has decent mobility skills, and he has amazing arm strength. So, you could be seeing something as kind of like an upset here, having Tyler Bray go ahead of Nassib and Matt Barkley.
Yeah, it has been an extremely interesting draft at this point. And while it isn't last year's draft with RG3, Andrew Luck, it's an interesting draft because we've seen a lot of trades. We've seen a lot of guys. I mean, people were talking about Geno Smith being a top 5 pick. He falls to the 2nd round. People were talking about E.J. Manuel being a steal in the 2nd round. Instead, he slides up to the mid 1st round, and then we see guys like Ryan Nassib and Matt Barkley just falling down in this draft board. So that part has been interesting to me. To me, the loser is the Jacksonville Jaguars because I love what they did bringing in Gus Bradley. I think he's going to be a great head coach, but I don't think it's worth going with Blaine Gabbert for another year. In the 2 years that he's been there, he has shown extremely little for the team to the point where Chad Henne was starting over him last year. And I think that you had an option to take Geno Smith in the 2nd round tonight. You didn't do that, and it's a move that I ultimately did not get, Justin. But overall, it's been a fun first 2 days of the NFL draft. I think that this has been the most interesting draft over the last few years because there's actually been questions about who's going to go. There hasn't been. There weren't lock picks even for the number 1 pick. We weren't 100% sure who's going to go. So it's been an extremely interesting draft. We've watched it all. We're covering it all, and we will cover every sport here on the Real Sports Talk. Please subscribe. YouTube.com/Mr. Kelstar, and we will catch you guys next time.